you had a lot of mentors growing up, and then now you're working with some of the really massive creators in the world. Like I said, I found you from Ali Abdaal. What have you learned from working with some of the bigger people in this space, that have set them apart from other people that really don't succeed?
Oh, what set them apart? That's a great question. But first, I want to say what makes them the same. They're just as fearful
Yeah,
as us. They just they
yeah,
have as much kind of um, like fear of selling, fear of something not working out, fear of risk, fear of putting themselves out there to a certain extent. Obviously, they're putting themselves out there because they're creators, they're YouTubers or something. But like, let's say, for example, Ali, because he's so open, I could talk about Ali a lot. Um,
yeah.
I was coaching him through him launching his first like self-hosted course, the Part-Time YouTuber Academy.
Mhm.
And he was so afraid, honestly. And he talks about this publicly, which is why I can talk about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about my clients. But
Yeah,
he's extremely open, and he was so afraid of charging a lot of money and being seen as like, even though from the beginning he had a business mindset, he set up his YouTube channel actually to promote his exam prep
of course.
business that he
Yeah,
was doing, right? To get into medical school. So from the beginning, he was kind of commercial, but still he was afraid to charge a lot of money and to go premium and to put himself out there. And I
hmm,
wanted to start by saying what makes them the same. And this is across all of them. They all have certain fears of certain things, some more than others, of course, and some are more experienced and they just push through them. Just like, I don't know, for public speaking, I used to be terrified, and now I don't really, only get very slightly, like a little bit of nerves, a little bit, but hardly any. When I used to be terrified when I was younger. So I
yeah.
wanted to point that out first. But I think what makes them different is speed of execution, speed of
Mm.
implementation. They just, okay, let's put this into action. Let's try it. Let's change the thumbnail there. Let's do a video about this. Let's make an offer there. Okay, let's put a Calendly link here to offer people to have a session. Okay, let's put together some syllabus and a landing page for an online course. They just do it, And a big part of being a coach, and this sounds funny but then I'll explain in a second what I mean. A big piece of being a coach is picking the right clients. And I'll give a metaphor for that, or an analogy for that. Harvard or Oxford or Cambridge or MIT or Stanford or whatever. Is it that their teaching and education and is so good? Or is it that their filtering process is so good to get the
Yeah,
kind of really successful people coming out of them? And this is what you have to remember as a coach. You can't make somebody take action. You can't make somebody become successful. You're there to support, facilitate, catalyze, you know, hold space, help them get clarity, help them with accountability. But ultimately, you can't do the work for them. So you got to pick the right clients. And thankfully, I have stuck with that and had the integrity to tell somebody, you know what, I don't know if I can help you here, and not offer them coaching, even if they're willing to pay, if I don't feel like I can believe in them. And I think that's absolutely key. So I think, yeah, the biggest part of it is just to take action despite fear and to implement. That's what makes them different.
yeah. I love everything that you just said right there, because when I first got into coaching, it was like I just want every client that I can get. And then the more I started working with people, the more that I realized I do not want every client I can get. Like
Yeah.
if it means turning down money to keep my reputation of actually helping people that I want to work with, it's like the mindset. Like I see coaches as people that can believe in their clients more than they believe in themselves, and that causes them to take a lot more action. And of course, the
Exactly.
accountability and the clarity and the catalyst of actually taking action. But if you don't believe in them, then how are you going to be able to help them, right? And so I support that so much. There was something that you spoke about a minute ago where you said that you used to be nervous going on stage, and now there's
Mm.
just slight nerves. I'm curious, what has changed within your internal narrative? What has changed within your process that allows you to, release that, or is it just more reps?
Um, it's definitely more reps, and it's also
Mm,
your beliefs change as well. And I think you can sort of hack the beliefs a little bit, but ultimately you need to get the reps in. So the beliefs is something like, people want to hear what you've got to say, stuff like that. Like this kind of
mhm.
like, if there are deep internal sort of, and this is very common, like imposter syndrome, kind of like, why would,
Yeah,
oh, another big example, Ali Abdaal writing a book. Again, use him as an example, as somebody who's
yeah,
so transparent. He was like,
yeah,
why would people want to read a book by me? He even thought, why would people want to learn YouTube from me? And at that stage, he had like 1.5
I
million subs, and
know.
there's a
Yeah.
bit of inflation as well, because like nowadays that's probably worth more compared to 5 years ago. But the point is that this kind of imposter syndrome is so common, and that the belief, it goes back to sales as well. In sales, if you feel like you're offering value versus if you feel like you're taking value, and you're persuading them,
Hmm.
like if you have this mindset that I'm going to convince them, that's a terrible mindset to have. If you have a mindset of like, I'm going to add value here, and you know what, if they're a
Yeah.
good fit, then I'll offer them the coaching or something like that. If let's say it's a coach, to sell a coaching program or something. Otherwise, I'll just, I hope I'll leave them better than where I found them. I hope I've added value. I hope I'll point them to some resources, and my DMs, my inbox is open. My DMs are open if they have any further questions. And that's how I see it. So I think a huge piece of it is to tackle that, and not
Hmm.
through therapy per se, maybe sometimes, but I think no, actually better through action, through reps. If you have this kind of thing of like, oh, I'm not worthy. No, if you just, you know, put yourself out there, get started, talk to prospective clients, get some rejections, etc., etc. Then you'll start to pick this stuff up. You'll be like, oh wait, well, these people who I thought are so clever and so amazing are actually just normal people. And when I, let's say, again, using coaching examples, when I just hold space and ask them questions, they get tremendous value out of that. It's not even me. Like, I don't even take credit for it. Like, coaching frameworks just work
Yes.
as a protocol, as a methodology. And this is kind of, I've run some courses in the past of teaching people coaching, especially YouTubers, and they're just like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, like, don't feel like it's you. It's not even that much about it being you. It's more about like coaching it as a framework just works. you know, you is part of it, sure, but then when you're having that imposter syndrome, it helps to kind of be like, it's just the framework, so it's all good. If I just follow that, then I'll be fine. So yeah, belief change is a part of it, but not in a vacuum, not just in your own mind. You need to get out there and get the reps.